Building productive routines and sticking with them has really changed my life for the better. So I'm one of those type A go, go, go people that's addicted to being busy. So productivity has always come natural to me. In my early 20s, that looked like busyness interspersed with burning out and pushing through really. However, when I started grad school, I became obsessed with finding a better way and I started blogging about creating a sustainable hustle. That's when I really tapped into the power of productive routines. I was up every day before work and school doing my yoga and my working out. My weekly meal plan was, a thing of beauty. I showed up to class with my healthy tea and my look at me greens. I was a high achiever at school and I was actually also crushing my goals in my side business. And then, dun dun dun.
Yeah.
I became a mom. So postpartum depression really slapped me in the face. Lack of sleep stripped me of my energy, and the crazy newborn schedule pushed out all my sense of normalcy and my routine, not to mention the hormones really triggered my OCD. So I think one of the things I craved the most when I was struggling with postpartum depression was my productive routines. So I was determined to get back to them, and I did. Yeah, and my legs, and trying to get my new normal. So workout one, here we go. I found my way back to a nice set of routines that were really adapted to that mompreneur life that I found myself in. And just when the ball was rolling again, I found myself pregnant again with my surprise baby, Christian.
Happy birthday, Christian. I love you.
And as soon as I knew I was pregnant, I knew I was going to have to give up those habits that kept me sane. But this time I had more hope because I knew I had the power to get back to them, right? I knew that I could get back to where I was, and I did. And I share this story because through all of this, I've kind of become a pro at building a routine that works for my current lifestyle and being consistent with it when the season serves me and knowing how to get back to that routine when I'm falling off. And I want to share these gems with you today in this video. So in this video, I want to give you specific, tangible steps to build a routine that helps you live your best life. The consistency of a value-infused routine is what leads to ultimate productivity. So it's important to know how to build a routine that serves your goals and how to stick to it. If you truly want those life-changing results, you got to know how to stick to this routine that you build. So tip one is to get the right bike. Building a productive routine is kind of like riding a bike. Once you know how to do it, you won't forget. And the first step in this process is getting a bike that works for you in the season that you're in. And what I mean by that is to first build a routine that works for you. So let me tell you how you're going to build this routine that works for you. The first thing I always suggest is to consider the season that you're in right now. What is the season of life that you're in? Do you have a newborn maybe? Do you have toddlers? Are you taking care of one of your parents? Are you taking care of yourself? Are you maybe going through a severe mental health episode? Whatever the case may be, I want you to take stock of your surroundings and be conscious of where you are in your life right now before you decide on a routine that may not fit where you are in your life. This is going to help you start from a place of self-compassion, from grace, and to really think about, okay, this routine that I'm building for myself now to be more productive needs to be productive for me, not for what I see that I'm supposed to be doing according to that girl. Like, what does this woman right here need for this season? So for instance, in my season, I have 2 toddlers that take a lot of energy, and once they're up, so I can only have, as far as a morning routine, the time that I have before they wake up and a little bit of time that I have after they go to school. So I need to be realistic and know that I'm still, in the stage where my kids need me a lot, and my routines have to fit around that season that I'm in. And then you also want to consider the habits that are going to help you reach your specific goals that you have for yourself right now. So in this season that you're in, what are the goals that you have for yourself? What do you want to accomplish by the end of this year? Where do you want to be in 5 years? And then think about what habits will support you in getting there. So if you want to be healthy and fit and you want to see yourself being that person that, can run around with their kids, you want to pick some habits that are going to support you being healthy and fit. So a good habit might be doing cardio every day during the week, those kinds of things. So kind of reverse engineer where is it you're trying to go, and not only think about in your goal planning, kind of, if you watch my channel, your 12-week year goals, your lead goals, but what are those daily habits, those things you're going to do every day, whether you have it written down as a goal or not, to support you to get to those goals. And then you also want to consider habits for each life domain that you have. I will put up on the screen a free Notion template that I have for you, which I call my Habits and Routines Organizer. I used to have this by PDF, but I am a Notion girly. I'll link the PDF in case you want the printable as well. But the Notion one is more built out to help you really align with this. So you're going to consider the habits that you have for each life domain using this template. What you're going to do is think about your family life. What habits do you want to have? Like, I wash my kids' hair every Sunday. You know, what habits do you want to have for your health? I want to, you know, eat fermented foods every day. I want to wake up early. Think about each life domain, and I give you some ideas in the template as well. So family, health, financial, and your corporate life. What are the habits you have for your business? What habits are going to support you there? Think about all those sorts of habits that are really going to help you, you know, create and design the life of your dreams. And then the next step, which the template and the PDF is going to help you do, is to take those habits from different life domains and trial them into different time areas in your life. So I'll explain what I mean. First of all, I say trial them because you're going to try them on. We set these routines, and you know, you have this picture in your mind that it's going to be this incredible system. You're going to be the most productive woman, and no matter what, you're going to stick to this routine because this is what you got to do. But we also have to be realistic and flexible and know that, oh, we may have set it for ourselves to work out every evening after work, but we're exhausted at the end of the day. And if you're like me, bedtime is cray-cray, and the last thing I want to do is go get on somebody's treadmill. So I need to work out in the morning. And so what you want to think about as you set these routines, you're trying them on. You're going to see how they fit with your life, and then you're going to adjust. And I don't mean give up. I mean, you might put them in different places because you've already come from a place of setting these habits for yourself based on your values and the season of your life you're in right now. So if you try them and they're not working, you want to fix them. You don't want to give up on them. So that's what I mean by that. And then also what I mean is turning those habits into routines by placing them into different periods. So for me, I have an early morning routine before my kids wake up. I have a morning routine after they leave, and including them getting them ready and stuff. I have an early AM work routine. That's like my morning before lunch. I have a lunch routine, which is usually when I pack my orders and mail them off. I have an afternoon routine. I have a wind down work routine, and I have an evening routine. So those are all the sort of routines that I have. And if you're like me, you might be thrown off by like, dang, your life is so regimented. Like, you don't have any space to be free. Routines give you space to be free. So you have things where they're supposed to be, and you have the space to know this is my time to just think. This is my time. This is my routine Fridays. Like, I have my planning routine on Fridays, those kinds of things. So that makes me think of, in addition to those daily segments, you might have monthly routines. You might have quarterly routines, like your quarterly reset, things like that. So you're going to shift those habits and then move them into placing them into different routines. And again, that free Notion template I have for you is going to help you arrange and do all those things. So tip 2 is to keep writing. If you can't trust yourself to follow through with these elaborate habits and routines that you're building, not only do you miss the opportunity of putting your productivity on autopilot, you lose the ability to trust yourself. And losing the ability to trust yourself can feed those negative core beliefs like, I'm a failure, and it leaves you feeling constantly disappointed in yourself. So sticking to the routines you create for yourself can help you by learning how to keep promises to yourself and finally become that girl, because you know when you set out to do something, you're going to do it. And so make sure that you know how to keep riding that bike. So you're going to do that by staying consistent with your routines. And I want to talk about a couple different ways that are evidence-based. You know, I'm a neuropsychologist here. I got to bring you the evidence to help you stick to routines and habits. The first one is maybe one you've heard before, which is to start small, especially if you're type A like me. Whenever you go back to doing something or you start doing something, you're like, oh, I don't need to start small. I'm just going to jump right in head first. And then you get overwhelmed and it's too much and you stop doing it. Kind of like when people go to the gym at the beginning of the year and they start saying they're going to go every day and they go like hard 60 minutes and then you don't see them in a month. Start so small that your brain can't even think about saying no to it. Like, okay, maybe you want to do more yoga in the morning. So maybe you start off with one sun salutation in the morning, and that's so easy to complete that you'll constantly get in the flow of doing it, and then you can add on from there. You also want to know how to get back on that bike. So you don't want to let too much time lapse when it comes to if you didn't do a habit for a day. So let's say for me, I have a habit of on Fridays doing my weekly budgeting. If I skip one week, I'm definitely 100% not going to skip the following week because I don't want to get in the groove of not doing my habit. So you want to keep that rule for yourself. Once is flexible of missing, and then twice is you're just falling and dropping the ball. So have, yes, grace and flexibility for yourself, but make sure that you are getting back on that bike. Another thing you can do to help you be consistent is to use negative motivation. What I mean by that is science tells us that our brains are more wired to pay attention to negative things than positive things, which means we're more motivated by something bad happening to us if we don't do our goal or our habit versus being motivated by the good things that might happen if we do them. So again, I'll just use the working out example. You may have, heart disease that you're fighting against, and your doctor recommends that you start doing cardio. You're going to be more motivated to think about, like, this is if you're having a hard time, right? To think about the negative consequences of if you don't work out, like your health, declining, not being here for your kids. I mean, if you really want to get dark, all that kind of stuff, versus trying to get back on the horse thinking about, oh, I'm going to look so good and all the positive things. Like, our brain is more motivated by the negative. That's just because our brain is wired to look out more for sticks than to chase carrots. Another evidence-based thing that you can do to help you build these habits to track your progress. There's so much research about tracking your progress. Essentially, that just helps you be more mindful of conscious of when you are doing the things right and when you're not, kind of thinking about, okay, what went wrong? What got in the way of me waking up this morning? What got in the way of me going to bed on time? Those kinds of things. Another research that I've shared on my channel here before is something called implementation intention research. So what you do, and this has been shown to help people reach their goals more successfully and quicker and all these kinds of things, and it works with habits as well, is imagine yourself doing the habit, but also imagine what might get in the way and yourself overcoming that obstacle. Let's say you want to have a habit of checking your email every morning because you're tired of having constant overflow email and you just want to get the habit. Let's say you want to do it at lunch when you're following the 4-hour work week. And what you want to do is imagine yourself checking your email each day. Imagine yourself when you wake up checking your email, and then imagine what might get in the way of you checking your email at right before lunch. An emergency situation with a colleague or somebody comes in and asks you to do a last minute project. Imagine yourself navigating that situation and still finding a way to stick to your habit. So in this case, checking your email, and then you're going to be more likely to follow through with sticking to that habit. Not only have you seen yourself doing it, but you've seen yourself overcoming any obstacles, and research shows that's going to make you more likely to do this habit. I remember Brendan Bouchard at a conference mentioning it, saying like he likes this, one of the questions that he asks himself each morning is, what do I want to get done today? What might get in my way? And what are you going to do about it? That me and my husband used to do that when we were dating each morning. We'd go through our little questions. And it is really helpful to help you stay consistent. And then I quickly will mention accountability. Getting an accountability partner is, proven, tried and true way to stay consistent with something. And then the last thing I want you to do to be able to stay consistent is self-compassion. Okay, today I'm just not going to get it done. Like I said, use that other rule of if you fall off one day, making sure you get back to it the next day. But having compassion for yourself. Maybe your workouts aren't as intense or long as you want. Maybe you're not doing the thing just as perfect. Maybe, it's not your ideal way of doing this habit, whatever it is, but make sure that you are being compassionate with yourself. Remind yourself you will get there, and it's going to take time and having grace, and check that inner critic at the door. Don't let it interrupt your progress. And then I lied. I have one more thing on the consistency track, which is habit stacking. So essentially, when you're trying to build a new habit, you're going to tie it to another habit that you already have in place, and this is going to help you build that new habit quicker. So let's say you have a morning routine where you want to start having the habit of practicing gratitude. You can have the trigger of whenever I'm waiting for my coffee to brew, I will think of 3 new things I'm grateful for. Or in the evening, if you were trying to get in the habit of setting out your clothes each day before you go to work, you might have the habit of when I'm brushing my teeth, right after I brush my teeth at night, because usually that's a habit that most people already have, you're going to set out your clothes for the next day. So let's move on to the third tip, which is knowing how to get back on the bike. So raise your hand if you've ever been victimized by life circumstances throwing you off your routines. Let me raise 2 hands, okay? I think we all have. But the important thing is whether you can figure out a way to get back up and get back on that bike. So these next tips are going to help you have a clear strategy to help you get back on track when you've fallen off your routine. Because I definitely know the personal grief that comes with the loss of routine and the loss of productivity. It can make you feel defeated and knocked off your game. But the good thing is also I know how to get back to my routines quickly when life happens, and I want to share that with you here. So first is reset routines, reset routines, reset routines. Did I say that enough? Having reset routines has changed my ability to stick to all my other routines. Let me tell you why. So having a routine to help you get back on track and reset accounts for the fact that you are human. Yes, I'm here to let you know you're not perfect. I'm here to let you know life is not perfect and things are going to try to throw you off track. You're going to have a baby or two. You're going to have, sickness. You're going to have to take off a day work. Like this Friday, my kid's daycare is closed and I didn't know until now. So you're going to have all those things that throw you off track. So having a routine to help you reset and realign is really helpful. The ones that are most important for me when it helps me to get back on track with my routines are my weekly reset routines that I do to reset my home. That helps me get back on my cleaning routines. My weekly planning routines help me get back to my goals, and then also my monthly and quarterly planning as well. Those reset routines, especially the quarterly ones, because I usually try to do something that applies to resetting my life monthly as well. But those routines really help me kind of step back and take an assessment of my life and think about, okay, are the actions that I'm taking aligned with what's most important to me right now in my life and where I'm trying to go? So reset routines are going to be your best friend. And then let me go through some other tips that can help you get back on track when you've fallen off. I also have written down for myself the signs that I'm falling off, because sometimes you don't even know you've fallen off track. You're just doing life and you don't even know. So write down what are your own personal signs of falling off track, and that can help you to trigger you to get back on track. You also want to reflect on your why. Revisit the reasons you started your routine in the first place. Take a look at your larger than life goals in your goal planner, and then write brand new reasons why you believe you will get back to your routines, and that's going to help you get back on track. Then you're going to start with one small step. If you've fallen off, don't try to do everything at once. Pick one small action to restart your routine, and this aligns with the concept of behavioral activation, where even minor actions can build momentum and break the inertia. So there's this example that I used to teach a lot when I worked in severe mental health setting. So the way depression or burnout works is you stop doing one thing. It's like a downward spiral. So you say, oh, I'm not going to get out of bed today, or I'm not going to wake up early. Then you do a little bit less. Oh, I'm not going to, get dressed, even though it's important for me to look good, feel good. I'm just going to work in my sweat. And then you do a little bit less because you're great. And then you do a little bit less, and then you do a little bit less. That is the spiral of depression, the way that it works. It's also the spiral of burnout and what accompanies falling off your routines. So what you want to do is capitalize on the fact that that spiral also works this way. Do one little thing. That's going to make you want to do one more little thing. Let's say I woke up maybe 15 minutes before my kids. So that made me want to, do my gratitude practice. Then I felt a little bit happier and proud of myself. So then I was set up for the day to do good. And then during the day, I was a little bit more productive. And then the next day I went to bed on time. And then, the inertia works this way. So use that spiral to help yourself. Just take one small step and know it's like a domino effect. It's going to help you keep taking other steps. Another thing you can do to get back on your routines is to reset your environment. Change up your space to make it more conducive to your routines. Research shows that altering your environment can reduce triggers for unproductive habits and make it easier to re-engage with those positive habits. So take a look around at your environment. Does it support you getting back to those routines? Visualize success. We already kind of talked about how you're going to do that. You want to visualize yourself restarting those routines, and also any obstacles that may get in the way, and show yourself getting back to your routines even if you have some obstacles. You can also use this research science of using a fresh start. So leveraging the fresh start effect, like the new year or a new week, our brain kind of gets that boost of energy and motivation from that fresh start. And it's been shown to help people kind of build habits. And then I also want you to check your inner critic. Remember, getting back to your routine is about figuring out what's not working and not what's wrong with you. So be gentle with yourself as you try to figure out. It may take longer than you expected to take, but that's okay. You're going to keep trying. As long as you keep trying, you will get back to it. And then also reward yourself for restarting, girl. Celebrate yourself. Celebrate the fat or guy that you're taking steps to get back on track, even if they're small steps. So that positive reinforcement is what we call it in psychology, is going to help motivate you. So pat yourself on the back. You are doing good, sweetie. Now you have the tools to ride out into the sunset on your bike with your new routines that help you be more productive and live more healthy. Knowing how to manage your time within these routines is what's going to actually 10x your productivity. And the time management tips I live by, nobody is really talking about. So if you want a fresh take on time management to get even more time in your day, I want you to watch this video here that I teed up on 10 time management techniques no one is talking about. Cheers to planning, manifesting, and enjoying, keyword enjoying, your dream life. Namaste.